I am here tonight to share the most recent lace book that I made. I made this using the Prima Spring Abstract paper line. I think that's what it's called. And I made this for a friend. So I'm going to go ahead and share and just explain a little bit about how I put this together. So this is just a book made out of beautiful cardstock from Prima. And this time I actually did things a little bit differently. On my last lace book, I used a chipboard to make the spine. And what happened is it ended up, sorry, my cat is deciding to be in video right now. What ended up happening was the chipboard that I used was so thick that it ended up creasing, and then it made the book look just kind of wonky. So I thought, you know, for the purposes of what it is, I don't think I really need a chipboard spine. So what I did is I actually just had a really thick piece of white cardstock, and it came with packaging of some sort. I can't remember. Sorry, guys. I guess she's joining the video this evening. I apologize. So you'll just have cat feet in the video the whole time. But I had this thick piece of packaging that I used just on this small portion, just to make sure that the spine itself was reinforced, but I didn't use it on anything that I had to crease or bend. And because I used multiple pieces of cardstock, which I'll show you in a moment, it is plenty sturdy enough for what I want it to be for, which is to gift some laces to a friend of mine. So I'll start by just showing the whole book. I have just a really simple tie closure that I've done, and I've used a piece of lace that I've hand dyed along with part of a vintage pleated lace that had kind of come unraveled. So I just took little pieces of it to use for this. And like I said, I used the Prima Spring Abstract paper line. I started by making the outside of my book using one sheet of the paper from the Prima Spring Abstract line, and I used a hidden hinge binding. This one is a bit different from the other lace books that I've made, just because I made this one taller and thinner. I had originally made it thinking I would flip it open, but it just kind of ended up turning out like this. So I'm going to show you the inside, and then I'll go over the outside a little bit more. So again, I just have that really simple tie closure. I adhered the piece, oh, I'm sorry, am I bothering you? I adhered the piece of laces with Fabri-Tac and a bit of hot glue. So I like to use the hot glue because it sticks instantly, and then the Fabri-Tac is a really strong hold. So I tend to use both, mostly the Fabri-Tac and a dot of the hot glue when I just want things to stay in place and make sure they're not moving. So I have 3 pages in this lace book, and I adhered them using that hidden hinge binding method. And I do have 1/4 of an inch in between these 2 pages, and then 1/2 an inch in between these 2, because I wanted to leave a bit more room at the front and back to place some different things. And then I have a few of my favorite vintage laces in here, just wound around the cards and just held in place by some really simple pearl straight pins. So I've made a pocket back here with the paper line. I'll show that in a moment. I've also made a pocket in the front. So the pocket in the front here, I just made a small pocket so I can include a tag, and I was thinking I would put like a little note or something. I ended up just making a tag for the person. So if they wanted to use it, and not for you, cat, if they wanted to use it like in a junk journal or whatever, they had a tag there. And it was just really cute. So I may put a message on the back for them, like cut out a white piece of paper and glue it on so I can do my message. I really, really hope that the person I'm sending to is not allergic to cats. I'm so sorry. I will try to clean it off before I send it to you. Make sure there's no cat fur on it. Also, if you buy laces from my shop, I just want you to know I do not allow her to sit here when I am packaging laces. So just so you know. And she is also in rare form tonight. I'm not quite sure why she is all over me, but anyway. So that is the inside pocket here. I have the 3 lace pages, and then I included a thicker pocket in the back. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I was thinking of either including tags of more lace, which I ended up doing. I was also thinking of doing like a little pull-out drawer and including some different, just some different embellishments, maybe like some appliques or something. But I did end up going with the lace cards. So I just have a few more vintage laces here that I have wound around these cards. And I've just put them in like so that not only do the tags stay in place, sorry, I'm trying to keep my cat away here. Not only do the tags stay in place, but then because they're staggered, you can see them and they just look pretty that way. So I'll fix that later. Go, move. So I'm so sorry. Let me try to get her out about that. Her name is Stormy, by the way. She is a very sassy calico cat, and she is highly offended that she cannot stay on this table. But she is very used to me not allowing her up here, so I guess that's maybe why she's crawling all over, because I didn't immediately push her off, which I normally do, gently, of course. But yeah, she's taking a bit of advantage of the situation. So anyway, I did just make this using the paper line. I have about a 1/2 inch width on both of those sides, and I have another paper 1/2 inch here to leave enough space to create a decent sized pocket and still have room for the laces on this page right over here. So the back is pretty simple of this. I just used some cutouts from the paper line, some of the ephemera pieces, and then I used a really pretty paper back here that I liked. And you can see this is just done super easily underneath these papers. I just glued this on before I did any decorating to make sure it stayed put. On the spine, I do have a really pretty wide pink lace that I've wrapped all the way around using Fabri-Tac. And then I have this wide vintage lace that is just really soft and pretty, and I used Fabri-Tac to adhere that over the spine. And I like the layered look it created. On the front, I was just a bit more detailed, and I have this vintage lace here that's kind of tattered in places, but because I was able to glue it down, it just looked perfect. It's one of those laces where you have to iron to get it to be straight, but this particular one I didn't. I just glued it down and it stayed put, and it looks great. I have a couple of cutouts from the paper collection, and these are just some handmade flowers that I've made with different laces. I love to make flowers, and what I do often, which I'm sure everybody does things a little differently, I often make just flower layers. So I randomly have flowers like this, just layers sitting around, because when I watch your wonderful videos, I want to craft, but I don't want to do something so that I am not paying attention to your videos. I just want to do something fun and mindless, and I'm always looking for an excuse to play with lace. So a lot of times I just have random flowers sitting over here in the corner. Most of the time I do. In fact, my pile is getting a little low. So then when I do get to a project and I want to use those lace flowers, I really just kind of pile them up. I use these really, really beautiful AB rhinestones, and these are from Roseanne's shop. I'll link below. She gifted me some, which was so kind of her, and I definitely need to go buy some more because they really add the perfect touch to those flowers. I'm not a huge fan of really big bling because then I feel like it just kind of takes away from the shabby look, but that tiny bit of bling is just perfect. So I still may put like a little stickles or something on the butterfly and the bird, but for now I'm just happy with the way it is. And so I'm going to just tie this back together. And like I said, this was made for a friend, and so this is, you know, I don't know that this is a book that will last for 10, 15, 20 years, but it will definitely last enough time to send to them. It's just as sturdy as like a really thick card, and hopefully it will stay intact. I do have double layers of paper here. These papers are all double layered. And just like I use the Fabri-Tac along with another adhesive, I do the same thing when I make these pages. When I do my hidden hinge binding, I do use Fabri-Tac and the tape. Oh gosh, you guys know what tape I'm talking about. I don't know the name of it. I can't remember. It's just this tape. So I do use this to get that instant stick, and then I use the Fabri-Tac just to ensure that it stays closed. And I've really never had any trouble with any of these coming undone, so hopefully it all stays put. Well, I hope you liked the project. Thank you guys so much for watching.